Dr. Jazz.
And thanks for finding the time. Appreciate it.
Well,
Jazz.
thank you for having me.
Yeah, I mean, I already knew about, the main reason is the latest Spinifex album, but which already kind of heard before we got hooked up together. And man,
Oh,
whew, I love it. I want to talk
oh,
about that.
thank you. Nice. Oh,
Uh,
I'm glad.
I'm I kind of write in the similar fashion, like kind of complex compositions rhythmically, and then sometimes going into free sections and stuff. I really love that. So, but I wanted to ask you first, start this talk. What's the story behind the group? I mean, I know it's almost like 20 years, right, or something like that, that you formed this band, and
Yes, that's right. Um, yes, it's been 20 years indeed. And actually, Spinifex had several incarnations, you could say. Um, in 2005, it started out as a larger band.
oh,
It
really,
was a 10-piece
really, oh
band.
wow, okay,
Yeah. So there were three people involved in setting it up. That was a flutist and composer, Ned McGowan, um, trumpet player Gijs Leefeld, and myself, and all based in Amsterdam.
mm,
And we wanted to have a mid-size ensemble to, yeah, be able to achieve more orchestral colors and yeah, we had a lot of wind instruments. It wasn't necessarily in the jazz vein. It
hmm,
was more in betweenish. Um, and around 2010, the trumpet player Gijs and I decided that we also wanted to have a second version of Spinifex, which was a smaller version, because we wanted to have a more like a working band
mm,
size
yeah,
format. And that was a quintet at first, with a different rhythm section. And these two, for a while, were parallel. And then kind of the smaller lineup kind of took over.
yeah, yeah, sure, yeah,
And
logistically,
yeah, that's the basis of what Spinifex is today.
mm, yeah, yeah, I love it because you can hear there's a lot of chemistry going on there between
Mm,
you guys, which is nice, you know. Uh,
mm, mm.
did you write the music for the players? I mean, do when you wrote the compositions that you're writing for this band especially, or
Yes,
yeah,
yes,
right? Yeah,
definitely,
yeah,
yes.
I got that idea.
There might have been some exceptions in the earlier days of that quintet, sextet, but yes, nowadays I usually write very much for the players, with the players in mind.
Yeah, yeah,
Also, try to, yes, because yes, we know each other well, and I know their qualities or the potential areas of um, exploration, you could say.
yeah.
So, yes, I like to get into that zone.
What's your process when writing? I mean, when I listen to the music, like I said, it's rhythm seems to be really important for you, at least. It's quite some rhythmically challenging stuff, and the lines, from going from these almost, you know, like staccato-ish unisono lines and going into free sections. And how do you usually start a tune? I mean, especially with this latest album, what was the process there?
I don't have a standard way of working concerning
Hmm.
that. It could start with a melody or with a rhythmic cell, um, or often it also starts with a proportion. So often it has to do with yeah, you could say numbers or shapes, um, and um, and that is something that is very inspiring to me.
Mm.
That I like to look at proportions between different durations, for example. Um, and then sometimes these numbers start leading a life of themselves
Yeah,
under my supervision, you could say. That's where a tune can start to grow, and yeah, that's been very fruitful for me the last years.
yeah, yeah. I like it also that there are so many influences. You know, sometimes there's even like a rock vibe going in between, or it's quite cool. It's
Yes, yes, the rock vibe is also very important for us, and that's well, talking about the history of Spinifex, when Gijs and I started this in 2010, that was a also a conscious decision to get into that rock vibe
yeah,
as an important part of the music, and that was also, for example, a reason to ask Philip Moser, the drummer, to join the band, who had like a real legit
yeah.
rock background as part of his bag. And yes, we've been feeling very much at home in that since.
Yeah, I like that. It's just like nowadays that you know, as a jazz composer, you can blend anything and it
Hmm.
works. It's not, you know, like it's jazz. It's just like fuck it, okay. Throw in
Yes,
some distortion and some weird stuff or some basic stuff, or this, it's all works. It's beautiful. Yeah,
yes, definitely, and that is something that has changed the last 30 years or
yeah,
so. Maybe in different ways, that has been going on since jazz exists, but in this particular way and kaleidoscopic way, it's something that is yeah, something I feel of the last 20, 30 years.
yeah,
Um, and in the Netherlands, um, um, yeah, I can very much remember that people around me and people I was playing with and bands I was playing with were regarded as a bit weird or um, so that has changed, and yes, that's a great development. So
How did you decide to move to Amsterdam, by the way? When did you do that?
I moved there in 1990.
Already? Wow, okay. Wow.
So I've been here for quite a long time. I also have a Dutch passport now.
Oh, okay. Cool.
I'm German by origin. I grew up in Saarbrücken.
Ah, okay. Yeah, I played there once actually, like 4 or 5 years ago, pre-COVID.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Was that in the INI art series,
Yeah, yeah, that's like
improvised?
in that like almost like it's like a shopping mall or something like that, and above there's like a beautiful stage, like quite a big room. Jazz Syndicate, some I think they organized it
Ah,
probably.
all right. That
Nice
was
place, really cool.
okay. Nice, nice. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
There's a quite a nice scene in Saarbrücken now,
yeah,
also for free music, and which is exciting for me because when I left, there was nothing
yeah.
like
I can
this.
imagine like mid '80s. That was like, of
Yes, yes. I mean, there was a traditional jazz scene,
course. Yeah,
mainstream jazz scene, um, but yes, it's changed, and that's great. So I've been visiting regularly also.
beautiful. Yeah.
Mm.
How did you get into jazz, by the way? Like
Um,
in Saarbrücken. I mean, how did you find out what were the first things that you were like, oh, I want to do that?
yeah, interesting question. That it kind of seemed to happen by itself. Um, Actually, I think the spark of what I wanted was that I I wanted to be able to play the music that I composed, and of course, in those years, my way of composing was very intuitive and yeah, not schooled in anything,
Mm,
um, just learning by doing. But I had a strong feeling that I had to be able to play my instruments. I had to be more in command of my instrument, and just know a lot more about music, and kind of jazz seemed the most um, for being. I was mainly a saxophone player then. I now also play a good bit of bass clarinet.
Yeah.
But then for the saxophone, jazz seemed the genre that fit most to, yeah, developing myself as a player on the instrument.
Mm.
Um, and and then there were some people teaching in Saarbrücken that yeah, helped me quite a bit with that. Yeah, also learning some piano, harmony theory, stuff like that gave
Mm.
me a basis before I moved to Amsterdam.
Mm. Did you check out like all the, did you go back to all the traditional players from Coltrane and Shorter and then you
Uh,
went like to Ornette, I guess, and Albert Tyler and all these cats, or like how was this development for you?
yeah, I guess that was part of those years, and also in conservatory in Amsterdam. Um, yes, uh, yes, bebop, Charlie Parker,
You did it,
also
yeah.
pre-bebop, Lester Young. I really like Jackie McLean.
Yeah, man,
Uh,
he was special. He was different.
um, yes, so yes, I got into that uh, quite a bit, and not with the pretense that I want to be a great bebop player, that I because yeah, um, that's not the path I wanted to end up in and spend all my energy on.
Yeah,
But it was a good school.
definitely. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Why Amsterdam?
Um, yeah.
I mean, it's
Um,
a stupid question in a way because Amsterdam, there's been this ICP tradition and all these players going in even back from Sean Burgeon and Misha and all these guys. But how did you decide to do that?
yeah, I mean, I did not know so much about Amsterdam. Uh, I I did not think like, oh yeah, in Amsterdam you have Micha Mengelberg and Willem Breuker and all these people, so I want to be there. It
Mm,
was not like that. But I was aware that there was a very lively scene in Amsterdam, and I was back then. You were like reading jazz magazines on paper, and that was a big source of information. And
mm,
and one of these magazines in Germany, the Jazz Podium,
yeah, sure.
they had a they had a listing of gigs all around Europe, and one of those listings was the Amsterdam Bimhuis.
Mm,
And so I used to see those listings, and I was like, wow, there's a lot going on there,
yeah.
names I knew, names I didn't know, and interesting combinations. So I already had this sense of Amsterdam. That's where stuff really happens, and yes, also I was attracted to the Dutch culture.
Yeah.
Yeah, back then also you had still this sense of freedom and a bit of anarchic spirit in Amsterdam, this post cracker scene, the like the squat scene,
Yeah.
kind of vibe. So yeah, that was attractive.
Mm. How was it like for you in the beginning when you came as a German from Saarbrücken to Amsterdam, probably not knowing anyone and getting involved in the scene? Like, how did you connect with people and who were the first guys basically you started playing with? And
Um, that was a um, yeah, was an interesting experience, and Amsterdam is in that way. Um, if you talk about young musicians coming into town, it's pretty international.
yeah.
And that was great. I loved that, and being able to meet people from all over Europe and also outside of Europe. Um, and yeah, few people that I got involved with musically also were part of the band that I first started gigging with,
Hmm.
also outside of the Netherlands. That band was called Man Bites Dog,
Hmm.
with guitar player Damien Cluzel from France and drummer Bernd Nellen, also from Germany. both based in Amsterdam around that time. And yeah, so we just played a lot. We rehearsed yeah, days on end, and yes, then it turned out that yeah, it got picked up, and yeah, we did a few tours. They did a few albums, and yeah, things started getting into yeah, kind of making the transition from student life into
Yeah.
professional life.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. How has the scene developed in Amsterdam in your eyes, being there like for more than 30 years? And I mean, I've played only in Beamhouse once. I mean, my wife is Dutch otherwise, so we visit
Okay.
Holland all the time.
Hmm.
And but you know, gigs in Amsterdam, I never seem to get there, like except once. Somehow, like, are there many places to play? Like, or what's in your eyes the scene? And like, are there sessions also? Do you guys meet like, you know, for jam sessions like in New York, players meet or?
Yeah, that's interesting that you mentioned that. I feel that there's a big gap between the BIM House, which
Yeah,
is like this real important venue, uh, uh, respected worldwide, well known, you know, and really super well established, and professional,
great
and
fees and everything. Yeah,
yeah, yeah. And then there's I miss some venues in the midsection, you know, that are maybe more open to experiments, um, to for people to present stuff that they might have uh, 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 they might have started new.
yeah,
Um, And then there's some venues that are much more yeah, that are basically door gigs mostly,
yeah,
you know, the where you can do improv gigs, and that are quite easily accessible, and also if you go there as a listener, not so expensive as for tickets.
yeah,
So those places still exist, and they keep changing. New ones keep popping up. So that's great. I feel that it's like a fertile ground, you know. It's like a rich soil that stuff can grow
yeah.
on.
Important. Yeah,
Yeah, and I wish there would be more in the midsection. That's a bit. Uh, it's been like that for ages,
yeah.
um, and I don't know how that. Um, I guess that's probably also a familiar story in other places as
Yeah, it's like
well.
Vienna is the same. You know, you have Porgy and Bess, and then
Mm,
that's it in a way. You know, there's like some smaller door gig places, and but it's quite interesting. That's why I'm asking. Or
uh-huh,
I
uh-huh.
find it fascinating that like a big city like that and with a vibrant scene, it's not doesn't
Yes.
have smaller gigs in a way. I mean, smaller like you said, mid-size, mid-range.
Yeah, 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 yeah. And yeah, I mean the great thing about those places on the uh on where money is scarce and you do door gigs and stuff, that often you find an audience that you wouldn't find
Mm,
in
yeah.
the well-established place. For example, in Vienna we played with Spinifex, we played a few times at Flug.
Aha.
Uh,
I don't know it even. Wow.
yeah, that's one of those places, and yes, we always had great crowds there.
Really?
That's not the problem, you know. It's yes, but finances, yeah, that's a ongoing
Yeah, yeah, constantly,
ongoing
right?
thing.
Yeah. Is the scenes strongly connected of you as a musician being part of, you know, so many musicians moved to Amsterdam, like Americans also, and from everywhere else. And is there a strong connection between the players? You know, that you have the ICP scene and the older generation from Michael Moore and all these cats, and kind of your generation coming from from the mid '90s. And what's the vibe between the musicians?
Um, I I think it's difficult to make a general statement about that. there are certainly different, yeah, you might call it sub-scenes.
Yeah,
Yeah. Not quite islands, but connected islands.
yeah.
And some musicians move very freely between those islands, and some kind of stick more to their own. Um, it has to do with generations, maybe,
Yeah, yeah.
but also with musical taste or aesthetic. Um, and Um, but there is interchange between those scenes, and
Okay.
I think that's very important, valuable for the scene in Amsterdam. Um, and I mean the what you talk about the ICP school, you could say,
Yeah.
or New Dutch swing uh, scene. It's so strong and pretty well defined in a way. Um, that's a longer time ago. Um, I found that quite monolithic.
Yeah.
Um,
It's very specific. Yeah.
but also I feel that has changed in the years, and there's been more exchange and learning from each other, and
Yeah. It's
yeah,
important.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Interesting. Tobias, I want to ask you. You mentioned bass clarinet before, and I saw you did some stuff with solo gigs on bass clarinet. Is there like a plan to release an album or something like that? What's your process when playing solo bass clarinet?
Mm. I'm dreaming about and that, but also I would like to do an album, and yes, that's still in the process of um, thinking about it. Um, and yeah, it's just funny that you mentioned it. I just wrote a bass clarinet solo,
Oh,
not for myself, but a through composed piece that was premiered by Fie Schouten. And I just came back from the States where she played it at the Low Clarinet Festival in Arizona
really? Oh, wow.
last
Okay.
week.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
cool.
So I'm still trying to shake off my jet lag. uh, uh, and yeah, that was also super exciting. And actually, a lot of that piece came from my solo improvisations that I'd been doing. I channeled some of that material into the written piece, and
Mm,
now I find myself when I'm improvising, I'm again drawing from that written piece and further enriching my improvisations. So that's a very good, for me. That's a very good back and forth um,
yeah.
way of working and expanding material. Um, and yeah, I mean, I play the bass clarinet in different settings, and
Yeah.
I haven't done so many solo performances yet, and that's something I want to explore more in the future.
It's like a beast of an instrument. I love the bass clarinet, man. It's
Mhm.
you know, it's I listened also to that trio you have with Marta Warelis and Frank, and
Mhm.
you've done some great bass clarinet playing on that one. I mean, that's a nice group also.
Thank you.
It's
Yes, that
really cool.
yes, very enjoyable combination. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Is that group still active? It is, right? You're still playing, or?
Well, actually we haven't done a lot of gigs with
Ah,
that trio,
yeah.
and it's also yes, it's been also due to crazy schedules, especially of Marta and Frank,
Yeah.
who are so active with so many different things. So yeah, that's something on my list to work on the next month.
Yeah, it's a beautiful album, that one. Really, I really like it.
Oh,
I mean,
thank you.
you've been active a lot the last few years, so that's nice to see.
Mhm,
Beautiful.
mhm.
What are your plans for the upcoming months and weeks? Or do you have some tours coming up? I mean, with Spinifex, are you coming to kind of more my part of Europe, like near Slovenia, or?
Actually, yeah, I was going to ask, where are you based,
I'm in
actually?
Slovenia, in Maribor, which is like half an
Oh,
hour south of Graz, 2 hours
yes.
south of Vienna.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I don't
Yes,
know
I've
if you
been.
played in Slovenia already or
Yes, we did. Not so much
Ljubljana, probably,
with
right?
Spinifex. Yeah, we played
You
Maribor, I think
did?
in 2013 at
Oh shit,
Pekana
Pekara.
something.
You played in Pekarna, really? Wow,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Interesting. Wow, okay. Cool.
Uh, yeah, but that's a while ago, and yes, we definitely want to come back, and yeah, also a beautiful area, of course.
Yeah, yeah, it's very nice, yeah.
Yes,
But
yes.
you're gonna do some touring to promote the new record, or?
Yeah, we have a CD presentation at the BIM House next week
Oh, beautiful.
on the 30th, and also play in Eindhoven close to that, and in Meurs a week later,
Oh, fantastic.
and um, and then we'll be in Czech Republic and Hungary at the beginning of April,
Oh, beautiful.
um, and that will be with a project that has three guest musicians, because we're celebrating our 20 years existence. And so for that, we have uh, this project, the No Net, and we're going to do more of those of that lineup in 2025.
Mhm.
Also, hopefully, record an album. And yeah, in 2015, we had a similar project that was called Spinifex Maximus.
Okay.
And so this year it's going to be Spinifex Maximus, but then with two X for the 20.
Nice.
Yes, yes.
Beautiful. Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. You find it hard nowadays, like promoting an album and like releasing albums. So what's your opinion on that? Like
Um,
on the scene of albums. I'm still a CD generation, you know. I mean,
yes, yes,
I see you as well. Yeah, you have tons of.
yes, yes. We make CDs, and uh, it's, yeah, to me it's still very important to be able to have CDs with me when we play live, so
Yeah,
people, when they come after, it's part of the, also it's part of the communication with your audience, that
I like
people
that too.
come to you after the gig and they would like to take home a CD, and then you start talking and stuff, and
Yeah,
it's a way of connecting it. And it would be different if you would only give them a piece of paper with a code.
download code. Yeah, yeah, that's
Yes,
terrible.
yes,
Yeah,
would be different. So I'm still very happy that we can give something physical, and the physical in different ways has been important to me in connection with music. Also, yeah, just being able to be there in a venue with an audience,
yeah,
which a few years ago was not that obvious that it would, that would be the future of music. and and also the playing experience itself, and the way
yeah.
of connecting sound and the body is something that I've been busy with. Yeah, but yeah, talking about albums, um, yes, of course, it's also an economic question, and it's a riddle that sometimes is not so easy to solve.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Uh, and yeah,
That's,
it's
I'm asking
I
you
think
because it's like it's a question that I think everyone in the business are, you know, questioning ourselves. I have like 12 mastered albums on my computer, and I'm like, shit, man, you know,
wow.
do we print CDs now, or how, you know, do we still go through a label, or do put it out on my own like I did with some albums, or like that's why I'm asking, because like, what's your approach there to
Mm.
promote and everything, and
Yeah, yeah.
you know,
I'm part of a label in the Netherlands, that's called Tritone.
yeah,
Um, and uh, so that makes for a direct connection with the process of releasing, and that's helpful to me, that I don't have to go through difficult channels and long waiting times
Yeah,
and all
absolutely.
that, that I can say, okay, release this, and if the music's ready, then band can just go in a few weeks, that's great.
That's
I love
important. Yeah.
that. And of course, it's a lot of work to keep that thing going, but it's worth it to me.
Yeah, yeah. Yep.
And that I still love to be able to release music through other channels as well, so other labels. I don't want to be present only in one spot.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, but yes, so Triton is important to me, and also to quite a number of musicians in the Netherlands,
Yeah.
as a platform. And yeah, we do the digital distribution. We do that. I can see the point of not doing it, but I think it's I think it's worth it
Yeah, yeah. You have
to
to.
be out there, and yeah, to be able for people to be able to find us. And yeah, Bandcamp is a great
Yeah, yeah, I
platform.
love
So
Bandcamp. Yeah, me too. Yeah.
yeah, so that's a way to connect as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Superman. Well, Tobias, I hope you make it to my part of of the world. So, or at least
Yes.
Austria. If you're gonna be in Graz or something, just drop me a line, and it's like half
Yeah.
an hour drive. Or
Okay. Yes, I'd love to. Yeah,
and
great.
I hope we get to play one day. Would be nice to improvise.
Yes, yes. I'll check out some of your music.
Yeah, I'll send
Now
you
that
a
yes,
link. Yeah.
yes.
So, but
Yeah.
beautiful man. Thanks so much for finding the time and chatting a bit. So,
Well, yeah, thank you so much for the conversation.
yeah. And
Yes.
next time I'm in Amsterdam, I'll drop you a line and we'll
Oh,
go for a
please do.
beer
Yes, please
together.
do. Yes, 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 yes.
Cool, man. Okay. Thanks so
Okay.
much.
Th-